everyone. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Sports Show. This is episode 907. I'm joined by a really special guest. His name is Byler. He's a former Major League player, first baseman. He got drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to get to his playing career. And also now he helps out the youth. He has this thing called Major League University. Go check that out on all social media formats. It's really amazing what they're doing, and we're going to get to all of that and this inspiring story. And he does a lot of stuff. Not only that, he's a motivational speaker. He speaks at clinics, baseball camps, and everything. So, Austin, I just want to say thank you for joining the show, and it's truly an honor. How are you and your family doing today?
Nathan, man, we're doing amazing. Thank you for having me on the show. We're excited to get rolling, man. Everybody's good. The weather, I'm in Arizona. The weather's starting to die down a little in the 90s, so we're excited about that. And fall is right around the corner, man. I think it is fall now, so we're excited about that, man.
Yeah. So I got a full team. I got a team of 8 people helping me out with this. So hopefully you get to meet the team at some point again when you come back on the show. But I want to start off with your childhood growing up, and when did you get interested in playing sports and especially baseball growing up? And who was that role model that you looked up to?
Yeah, so I'd say probably when I probably came out of the womb swinging a baseball bat, man. I always had a passion for it since I was young, and my dad threw the baseball in my hands and the baseball bat, and then we started to get to work. So I say my dad definitely inspired me along the journey to get that kind of kick started. I had a younger brother. I have a younger brother. He's a year and a half younger than me. And so we would compete in the backyard playing wiffle ball, tennis ball games, baseball games, and everything too. So it was always nice to have somebody growing up with to be able to go play. And then obviously our friends in the neighborhood. So I would say that's kind of where that journey started. And then it just kind of transpired throughout then. And I would say anybody that I looked up to in the MLB at least was Derek Jeter. I always wanted to be a shortstop. Loved the way that he handled himself. Loved the way he attacked the game and played the game. And it was somebody that inspired me to at least lead with that type of character on that baseball field.
Speaking of Derek Jeter, I'm sure you saw the Hall of Fame induction. What was that? Yeah. What was your reaction to that? I'm a Yankee fan, so what was the reaction to that when Derek Jeter got inducted?
Well, 2 things. 1, incredible, but 2, what a classic MLB move, putting it in the middle of a day. Like, dude, that should be prime time, like Wednesday, Thursday night. Yeah. Like, that needs to be highlighted. Everybody in the world needs to be available for that. So, poor job by the MLB, in my opinion, of marketing that. Great job by Derek Jeter. I'm super pumped. I'm a Yankee fan too. So seeing him get entered in there, that fires me up, man.
Yeah. So for you, I'm just curious, while growing up and playing the game of baseball, and did you get to play any other positions before settling on on hitting? Did you get to pitch, or did you ever think you can be like a Shohei Ohtani type of player?
I wish I did when I was younger. I thought I could when I was younger. I pitched until I was about 15, 16, and then it just didn't work out that way for me. I did have an injury when I was 13 years old. I kind of tore my rotator cuff. And before then, obviously it was a little shorter of a distance to throw, but I had a really good arm and pitched a lot. And then once that injury happened, I kind of just stuck more to hitting, lost a little bit of velocity on the mound, didn't trust it as much, and just kind of transitioned to different positions. So I'm a big fan of playing different positions, going the 2-way like Shohei. He's a special breed, man, to be able to do that and throw 100 miles per hour with the stuff he has and hit that many homers. Good for him. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of injury did you have to overcome throughout your career?
Yeah. So the first one was the rotator cuff when I was younger. And then when I got into college, I had a degenerative disc in my lower back. And so it would send shooting pains down my left side. And so trying to get upstairs or trying moving quickly or anything just hurt. It was just this constant pain in my lower back. And so that was a big injury that I had to try and overcome. And it took a while. Right. And I originally masked it with other things outside of the sport that weren't helping me or serving me. And that kind of leads into some of my story too. But after getting through that, we finally healed up. And so that was a big blessing to get that over with and done with. Thankfully, no more pain in the body.
Yeah. So I want to get to obviously baseball is a tough sport to learn as we speak. Every sport actually is tough to learn, but especially when it comes to baseball, because it's all about technique, the rhythm, for example, pitching the same routine and hitting is the same, keeping the same routine. For you, what was the process like for you, just keeping the routine together and then staying on the same schedule?
Oof, the routine's everything. And we joke at baseball players, man, we're creatures of habits, man, and we're products of our routine. And there's so much routine that comes into the sport. A lot of people call it superstition. We call it a really good routine. So it's a little different there. And I can see where it might be superstitious, but the routine helps us play. The routine gets us prepared for the game. The routine gets us ready for our day. and finding a morning or nighttime routine that helps serve you in every aspect of your life. So I would say routines are big. I can't say I was perfect at it all the time, but I had a good pregame routine that really stuck with, where I would get in the weight room, do a little bit of rolling out and get my body right. And then I prepare my mind with some meditation and breathing and just get myself ready and centered to go play, and then go out there and go compete. So routines are big, man, on the field, off the field. I'm a big fan of them, and I truly believe that they help prepare you consistently to go play in all different arenas.
Yeah, so I wanna ask you. Obviously, in high school, obviously you played different positions, mainly like pitching. You got to pitch in high school and everything. But when did they decide for you that you're going to stick with one position like first base?
Yeah, it was probably after I got crushed on the mound, after I gave up a lot of runs. I had one outing. I'll never forget it. It was my sophomore season of high school. We went over to a perennial powerhouse here in Arizona, and I got out of the first inning really well. I did good. I'm excited. And then the next inning, the wheels fall off. I give up 8 runs. We go home. We run a lot, and I never pitched again. So that was probably the last time where they said, "Hey, Byler, let's just have you hit and focus on that." I played some third base, played some outfield, kind of bounced around a couple different positions there. And then my junior year of my college season is when I really settled into first base, and that kind of took into professional baseball too.
Yeah. So speaking of college, tell our fans about your college recruitment process. How many offers did you get, or scholarship offers, and did colleges recruit you for multiple positions or just first baseman?
Yeah, so they've recruited for third base and first base. It was kind of like a corner thing. And hey, if it doesn't work out there, we'll send you to the outfield. The recruiting process is crazy because there's so much that goes into it. It's a whole just whirlwind of events, and you really takes getting seen by the right person at the right time in the right game. And ironically, I was out at a couple games here this morning in town, and there's 15, 20 college scouts walking around scouting athletes.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here like, man, the ones who show up in the right moment are the ones who get to go on and play. It's crazy how it works. So that's really the toughest part, is knowing and being patient that, hey, I need somebody to see me and the right fit to see me too. And it's got to be a good fit for me to go there. I wasn't highly recruited out of high school. I had a couple offers, and I was committed to a junior college locally. And then the day after the state championship, end of May in high school, I went up to the University of Nevada, Reno, and that's where I signed and pursued that next step. So it was 3 months away from college when I finally got that first Division I offer that I was certain about and wanted to go and get it. And it only took one coach, man. It only took one person to see it and trust in me and believe in me. And then the rest was kind of history there.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. Obviously, you batted lefty, and did you ever think of before you started baseball and when you started playing baseball, did you ever think maybe being a switch hitter, or mainly lefty for you?
I shut that down right when I saw how bad my righty was. So not really. I wish I could have. That would have been fun to play shortstop and hit switch. But I like lefty, man. Lefty was fine with me. I'm okay hitting lefty. And I wanted to just kind of keep that rolling there left-handed. I was good at it, so there's no reason to fix it.
So tell us about your college experience. How was the atmosphere in college? And obviously, what were the main things that you learned as a ball player in college?
Oh, great question, man. I'd say college was the greatest experience of my life, man. I love college, love the environment in Nevada. It's a smaller town called Reno. They call it the biggest little city, which is pretty cool. So Reno is a great town. It's amazing. The Wolfpack country supports all day long. They're always out at the games, and it's just a really good environment to play in. And so I loved it there, man. I got to play under 2 great head coaches. One was there for my first 2 years. He was there for 31 years. And then another coach, Jay Johnson, he's at LSU now, and he was my coach for the last 2 years. So great coaching staffs, great teammates, man. The memories that you make with your teammates and the experiences that you go through together, the good and the bad, is what college is all about. On the field and off the field, you meet so many different people from so many different areas in life and places across the country, and everybody's together supporting and going for one mission, one goal. So that was pretty cool, man. I think just learning through baseball, I learned discipline, I learned integrity, I learned how to work hard even when you don't want to work hard sometimes, how to overcome adversity and failure that happens in life for everybody. And it's really taught me a lot about business, about sales, about just being a good person and a good human from the sport, dealing with that adversity, dealing with that failure. So baseball's taught me a lot, man. I'm super blessed for it. And my favorite time ever was probably that college period.
Yeah. So were you the type of player? Obviously, a lot of players. This is a kind of question I like to ask younger players, younger athletes. And for you, did you obviously you got a party too in college, obviously, but for you, Did you focus? Were you the type of player that you focused more on your craft, or did you have time to go to parties, just have fun and lay low for a little bit?
There's a little bit of both, right? I think there's a fine line in those two. I definitely fell victim to that, to the temptation that's around you. I lived with some other people who were not athletes at one point, and that was a big distraction because they had all this time on their hands, and I didn't have much time on my hands, but I made time on my hands to go out and do things that I probably shouldn't be doing. So there was definitely some partying in there. There's definitely some events that you go to that you won't miss, or things in town that you're like, hey, we got to show up to this. But it's all about being disciplined when you're there, and
Right.
really finding a good support crew to be around. So I can't say I was perfect. I definitely had my fair share of things, and I fell victim to a lot of different things that probably didn't serve me at all and could have got me in a lot of trouble. But learning through that, I like to just share with athletes, hey, if you're going to go do something, make sure you have people around you that can protect you, that can be there for you, and just think before you act, right? Think before you act anytime. So that's definitely a big part of college, though. There is a good little party town in certain areas too.
Yeah, so take us through your draft experience, and that's the best time for all athletes when it comes to the draft, and that's when you realize you made it to your goal. Your dream is about to make happen, and for you, what was it like in being with your family, waiting for your name to be called? I love baseball draft because they go on MLB Network. They show the live in the houses with the family. It's amazing, and so for you, what was it like being from Nevada, being around that area, Arizona, Nevada? And also getting drafted by the Diamondbacks and seeing their history. They have a lot of great history. Obviously, I don't like this moment, but when they beat us in the playoffs, I think that's.
Yeah.
But obviously, you got Luis Gonzalez, Randy Johnson played there. So, what was it like getting drafted by that team with a lot of history?
Oh, dream come true, man, to be drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks. We had season tickets up until that season, ironically, and we were always at the games, man. We got to see the big unit, Kurt Schilling, Luis Gonzalez, man, all those guys, Jay Bell, Matt Williams, the list goes on of Diamondback legends. And
Wow.
being able to watch them, see them go to that field and then get to play for that team and wear that same jersey was such a blessing and such an honor and a dream come true, right? You always dream of that as a child. My dream was either the Yankees or the D-backs, right? One of them worked out, so that was cool. And being able to go play for that team. But ironically, my draft day was not very fun, right? I didn't like the experience. And for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself and I had expectations, and you start to watch other people get drafted that you feel like you're better than, or you feel like you deserve to go higher, whatever it might be. But it all comes down to the specific needs of that organization. So I didn't know that at the time. I thought it was just, hey, take the best dude available. And for me, I was comparing myself, and then didn't go exactly where I wanted to go my first year being drafted. I actually told the Nationals no in the 8th round, and then they called me in the 9th round and still drafted me. Wow. So there was a crazy experience there, and then went back to school, and going through that draft experience for the second time was much better. I took a lot more pressure off of myself and just allowed myself to embrace the moment, enjoy the moment. And then when the D-backs called, man, that was just a cool experience. We had the whole family come over, everybody in town for a big party and celebration. So that was pretty fun.
Well, yeah. So, explain to us, what was it like after getting drafted? Now, time to go to work, spring training, minor leagues, and what was that like for you? Playing in the minor leagues, getting to know the game more, learning how they go about their business, and this explain to our fans about that process.
Yeah. So when you get in there, I mean, you think you know it all, right? Coming from college, and you feel like you just had some success, and then you go to professional baseball and it's every single day. Now, I think they've worked in a few more off days. When I was there was no off days. I remember we played for like 30 games straight or something insane like that. And we're on the road on 7, 10, 15-hour bus rides at sometimes, and then waking up to go play a game again. So you've got to prepare yourself mentally. It's more of a mental grind than anything. Your body's going to break down, but how can you sustain that mentality and mental toughness when you take the field daily? And that's something where those routines, like you mentioned earlier, really came into play. So it was a great experience. It was really cool to just see the differences. But when I got to professional baseball, spring training, right, it was this big moment for me. And it just becomes this daily grind, and you've got to figure out a way to dig deep and stay consistent when you're there. So finding people around you, same thing, that can help support you, being disciplined in your daily habits, getting in the weight room and sticking with the plan that they have in place is always big. And then just getting to experience that, man. In spring training, you're around everybody. So everyone in the organization, top to bottom's around. You get to go to the chapels with the teams and all these awesome, cool stuff. So you really get to learn a lot, right? You pick people's brains, and then a lot of the coaches have played for a long time too. So learning from them and getting just to absorb that information, being around great baseball minds and great people, that was an awesome experience. So I would say, definitely fun, right? But it can become a mental grind depending on where you are and what affiliates you're at in the country. And so you hope that you're in a decent little town and with some decent resources.
Yeah. So, did you ever, could you been if you could you been still playing right now as we speak? If because you're this is where it gets interesting because tell our fans about the story now because I could have I could have thought you could have a longer career right now.
Yeah, yeah. I would hope that I could still be playing right now. I definitely made some wrong decisions in my career, and so when I was in college, right, circling back there, some of the people that I was hanging around, we weren't doing the right things. When I had that first injury and I had that pain down my leg, I started to use prescription medications to mask that pain, to just be able to feel better, right? Feel better about my physical body. And then it turned into the mental, the anxiety, the depression, to be able to mask some of those things using prescription medication. And as that happened, right, 4 years later, I have a great year, my first year of professional baseball. I'm expected to go to the big leagues. I got a top 20 prospect call. And I'm like, man, we're in, right? It's right there. I'm so close. And then I failed the drug test. Coach brings me into the office, says, hey, man, you're going to miss the first 50 games. We'll be here for you, right? We're going to support you and encourage you through this. But because of the choices that you make, this is what happens. So I'm a big believer in that. And so now being able to go speak to athletes, especially athletes and people in general, man, just being able to share that story, the vulnerability, that experience of the mental toll it took on me, and then being able to find like productive resources to help get out of that mental kind of, I don't know, spinning spiral, right? Something like where you're just eating yourself up. It was really good. So I like to always share that out there too, man. It's been fun.
Yeah. So what's that been like for you? Obviously, being a former player now and going through this horrible situation, and now helping out other athletes get through their situation with mental health. Mental health issues is a big topic now in sports if you think about it, because you got Kevin Love speaking out from them. A lot of players are speaking out, and so for you now being the CEO and founder of Major League University, first, how did that come about, and how grateful are you to have this platform to be able to help other athletes with this platform and your story too?
It's been the greatest blessing ever, man. It all started through that story. I saw myself go through it, beat myself up mentally for so long. I saw a lot of my teammates in high school, college, and professional baseball, especially in professional sports, beat themselves up too. And it just becomes this negative feedback loop that we live in. And we're always constantly under pressure. We want to leave and do all these other things, and you almost feel stuck sometimes. So now being able to go help equip athletes with mental health, with practical steps, with different leadership topics and character building, it's been a huge blessing, man. And being able to share that story and mentor some other athletes who are going through this process to maybe not make some of the same mistakes that some of us have made, and find a different course, a different path that belongs to them, and to just believe in themselves, man. I'm such a big believer in belief. I think belief is everything. And if you have belief in yourself, you can achieve anything. And that's something I really try to get across from the teams and the businesses that we get to go speak to, is if you believe you can do it, you can do it. Go out there and take the action now, and to make sure you stay the course that's going to be coming at you all day long.
Wow. This is a two-part question. Obviously, the first part here, do you guys reach out to other athletes from different sports, or you mainly just focus on baseball? And the next part to this, obviously you're inspirational speaker, motivational speaker. You go to events and speak there too. And how hard was it not last year with COVID? And obviously we still have COVID going on, but not as bad as before. But how tough is it for you guys as a team not to go to events last year with the COVID?
Yeah, no, there's great questions, man. The first part, we work with anybody. So we'll be going, and especially this time with football being in season, we're going and speaking to some football teams, softball, baseball, volleyball, women's basketball. I mean, you name it, we're trying to be there, right? So anyone who has an interest in it, we're always here to help, and we love to go out there and offer it. It's the same thing, just across all different sports, right? It's the same philosophy, same mindset, same tools, just different sport, different topics. So that's been big. And then the COVID, man, it was tough at first, right? Really hard, because we're like, man, I can't go to any campuses. I can't go anywhere. I'm not allowed to do anything. We can't even host an event. There is no events. We have few big events that we were looking forward to so badly that just got canceled and banged right away. And so that was tough at first. And then we kind of hot routed and we went with the Zoom, and Zoom was such a valuable resource for us that it really sparked our business in a whole nother direction that we didn't even see. through this whole experience. So I'm thankful for COVID because it's one, it made people more aware of mental health and how a lot of people have felt alone, sheltered, maybe just hopeless in different areas, but also just to maximize our opportunity with the Zoom and different things that we can use via technology to make a bigger impact and kind of widespread across the country.
So now what's it like now going back to events, going back to speak in person with other people, and obviously it's still protocols, maybe you have to wear a mask, but still having that opportunity now to go back to speak in person now.
Amazing. The greatest thing ever, man. I will never take it for granted again, man. I love being in person. There's something about it with the energy that you feel in the room. And then for them, they can see me, they can feel the energy, the passion. And then for me, I get to see them. I get to see their eyes, right? Hopefully get to see their mouths if there's no mask. And we just get to communicate, man. That's the biggest thing is, hey, we can communicate, show each other love and really just be there for each other in that moment, man. I think in-person contact is so powerful. And the more we can surround ourselves with good people, the better we're going to be in our life.
Yeah, so for you as a team for Major League University, what are you guys most looking forward to for the next coming months and in the future for you guys?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of exciting things. We're joining the NFT industry. We're going to have some cool NFTs coming out here soon and kind of releasing a project called Project Sandlot. It'll be available hopefully in November is when we're kind of aiming for, which is going to be pretty cool. It's going to provide some utility and some resources for what we want to do with athletes as well in some of our events. And then we've got some leadership retreats that we're trying out here soon. So we're going to be doing some leadership retreats in the mountains here on the West Coast. That's going to be really fun, man. We're excited for it. It's been kind of a dream come true and spontaneous idea that just happened out of nowhere. But we have some good friends in our group who have offered up some spots that we can go do some things at and get some athletes there. So we're going to be looking forward to that here this fall. Actually, next month, we'll be going to Lake Tahoe up in northern Nevada, and that's going to be an awesome event, man. We're super excited for that.
Hey, if you guys need help with anything, let us know. Our team is willing to help you guys out with promotions or helping probably in-person events soon. And if you guys need help, let us know.
We would love it, man. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And I see these two quotes behind you. It says, follow your dreams and then stay positive, work hard, make it happen. What does that mean to you, those two quotes?
Yeah, I love the stay positive one because my mom always told me when I was younger, hey, honey, stay positive, keep working. You can do anything you set your mind to. She set the bar really high, right? She started her own business and she went off and did her thing and supported us for so long. She's been a big inspiration to me in my life. And then follow your dreams, man. I think nothing's possible unless follow your dream, and your dream can lead you in so many different avenues and different ways. If you keep following your dreams and really what it is that you're working for, to me, every time I wake up, this is a reminder to say, hey, this is where we're headed. This is where we want to go. It might not be there yet. It might not be pretty or perfect, but we're on our way, right? We're following that dream. We're going to keep pushing until we achieve it.
So before we get to the last two things, I got to ask you about the Yankees. So obviously we're big Yankee fans, and this season's been a lot of ups and downs. A lot of struggle in the beginning, 13-game win streak, back to struggle, and now we're in a spot where we got to win pretty much the whole. We got to sweep Boston and we got to sweep Toronto and Tampa Bay. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think we can do that, or do you think we can make the playoffs? Because it's going to be tough because Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Yankees are right in it now in the mix of it.
It's a crazy race, man, in the AL East and in that wild card spot, man. There's four really good teams and they happen to be all in the same division. I think it's possible, though. They have the three giants in the outfield, and then they have some great pitching and some guys that could take the ball out of the park. They play well together. I definitely think it's a possibility. It's going to be really challenging, though, with those other teams that they're going up against. And it's going to be crazy to see them all battle it out against each other to find these last two spots, and four teams for a couple of spots. And just there's going to be an odd man out, unfortunately. But I think the Yankees can get it in, and I'm a little biased, so I hope they do.
Hey, it starts tonight with Garrett Cole on the mound against Boston, so let's see.
Yep. Let's go, baby. Come on, Cole.
I can't wait. And what's your best moment as a Yankee fan?
Oof. The Derek Jeter retiring was a great moment, although it was a sad moment. I think just seeing them in the World Series so many times, man, and seeing them go out and pursue what they're doing is awesome. And just the historicness, man, of wearing the pinstripes. It's such an awesome thing. players that come through that organization, they just do it differently. There's a different feel about it. So I would say thinking back to the early 2000s was really fun to watch with some of those guys like Tito Martinez, Paul O'Neill. You got Derek Jeter, A-Rod, Shelly Duncan. I mean, there's so many good dudes that have been through that team and that organization. So I just like being a fan, man. I like sitting here from afar and just supporting them.
You're gonna like this. My best Hanky moment. We had Johnny Damon on the show last year, so I'll send you that interview so you can go check it out. Yeah, so my best moment was when Johnny Damon stole second and third in the 09 World Series against the Phillies. That's my best moment ever. So.
That's epic, man. That was so sweet.
Yeah, so I'll send you our interview with Johnny Damon after this so you can check it out.
Yes, please send that to me.
Yeah, so the last two things here before I let you go, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe. And we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Yes, please do. Please do.
And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
Yeah, thanks for all your support. Thanks for going out there and sacrificing your lives for the lives of others, man. That's true selflessness, and just the power that they've had, man, to be able to keep people healthy and to be able to just put it out there, put their own life on the line for others is why they signed up for the job. And so just to see that courageousness, man, it's true heroes and people who are courageous, who are bold, who go out there and take that leap of faith, and they don't do it just for themselves. They're doing it for others. So we need more people like that. Man, we need more people like that in this world who are out there and they're selfless and courageous and bold in whatever it is they believe in. So I'm definitely a big thank you to them and all the servicemen and women that are out there serving to fight for our freedoms in this country, man, and to keep us safe.
Yeah, well said there. And we got to put your story out there more, man. Your story is it's awesome. It's great what I'm seeing here and really inspiring. And this wraps up episode 907 with former MLB player, first baseman Austin Byler. Now he's the CEO and founder of Major League University. Go check that out on all social media formats. They help out athletes that are going through struggles, and he speaks at events, everything, man. This is awesome. Thank you for coming on. It was truly an honor, and we would like to have you back on the show at some point down the line so you can meet the full team. But keep up the great work with this, man. And if you need help, we're willing to help you guys and stay safe.
Oh, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for having us on the show, man. We're excited, and thanks for all the support. We'll definitely be in touch too, man. Thank you again.
No problem.